Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. I hope your day's going really good so far. I decided to do my video of the story a little bit earlier tonight. So again, we're doing the Hair Pulling Bear Dog, the DJ Dillon series by Lee Roddy. And I love this story. And we are on chapter 4. And the name of it is Surprise on the First Bear Hunt. Oh boy. So, just a simple picture again. This is the picture. So let's begin. It was dark when Sam Dillon eased the pickup across the shallow creek. That means he went across really carefully and slowly, and up the hill to the Dillon's house. DJ saw his grandfather in the truck's lights. He was sitting in his rocker on the front porch. The hounds bayed Grandpa from the back of the pickup. Woo! Ooh! That's baying. DJ whispered, "He's mad, Dad. Look at the way he's rocking." The old man rocked so hard, the chair suddenly crashed over backwards. Grandpa rolled over quickly, muttering in anger. He used his... Well, I got to look up how to say that word again because I always forget. It's his stick, his walking stick. Starts with an S. And it was his Irish shillelagh. Okay? He used his shillelagh to try regaining his feet. But when he couldn't rise, Grandpa whacked that upside down rocker with the blackthorn cane. He whacked it hard. DJ laughed when he knew Grandpa wasn't hurt. The old man got to his feet and called out, "Been eating over there at that Wilder woman's again? I'll bet. Leaving a body here alone, all alone to starve or eat his own cooking? Hey, what's them?" Dad said, "Hounds. Trail hounds, to catch that outlaw bear and give us the bounty money." Grandpa pulled himself up against the front porch post and looked at the hounds by the pale light of the front porch bulb. Dad tied the hounds to the supports under the porch. He asked, "You fixin' to find fault with my dogs? Something wrong with them?" Grandpa clicked his false teeth and adjusted his bifocals. "No, Sam. I was just studying what to name 'em." Dad yelled, "They already got names." He pointed to the hound he was just chaining up. "That there black and tan is named Rock. He's got a beautiful voice on the trail." DJ smiled. Dad was repeating Boot Maloney's because Dad hadn't even heard that hound whine yet. Grandpa didn't say anything. Dad pointed. "That there mixed Redbone and Blue Tick, well, that's Thunder. That one's Max, and the female is Roxy." Grandpa didn't seem to hear him. He leaned over the porch rail and pointed with his cane. "That one there'll be Blackie. The second one's Sally." "Sally!" Dad yelled. The dog scooted back under the porch. "Thunder's no female dog, and Sally's a female name." Grandpa didn't hear any better than a post when he took his mind to the contrary. Can a wooden post hear anything? Nope. Neither could Grandpa when he made up his mind. "The third one there is Jonesy, and the female's called Birdie. Dad looked like a balloon filling up with water and about to burst. Grandpa didn't seem to notice. He sat down in his rocker. He had spoken. The hounds were named, and nothing Dad could say would change the old man's mind. DJ said, "Grandpa, what's this one?" The boy waved his hand over towards the hair puller, which had been chained to the side of the porch near the back door. Grandpa hobbled over to the edge of the porch. Don't rightly pair to me to be much. I'd say he's a knot, a cipher, a nothing dog. DJ didn't care for the mutt, but he didn't like those names. Grandpa, he's not real handsome, I'll admit, but he should have a better name, don't you think? Nope, DJ, I don't. He's a 0 in my book. Likely no good for anything. I can see it in him right off, and that's his name, 0. Grandpa had spoken. DJ didn't like the name, but there was nothing he could do about it unless Grandpa changed his mind. The boy looked at the mixed hound, Airedale, an Australian shepherd, and sighed. Then he remembered what Maloney had tried to tell Dad about why he shouldn't trade for that mutt. And DJ had the funny feeling Grandpa might be right. When the boy got home from fishing alone the next afternoon, he carried in an armload of white oak wood for the stove. He was surprised to see his father already home from work. Dad said, "Get dressed, DJ. We're going after that there outlaw bear dog." Grandpa exclaimed, "Sam, you can't possibly catch old Satchelfoot tonight. That means you'll be out tomorrow too, and you'll get fired if you miss the work." "We'll be back in time." Dad tamped the kitchen matches into an empty shotgun shell and poured melted parfait, that's wax, paraffin, over the top. DJ knew that when it cooled, the matches would be waterproof. The paraffin could also be used to help start a fire if they ran out of little stub candles that they carried for that very purpose. DJ pulled on his tin pants, like all the loggers wore. These were of heavy canvas, a very heavy cloth, or brown ducking that came up to his waist, all the way up to his waist. Tin pants were never washed. Oh, that's gross. They got so greasy they could stand up by themselves. A person could run through the brush with such tough clothing. Let me adjust this just a little bit. How's that? A little bit too much. Okay, that's better. Grandpa snorted. "Sam, you're letting this bear get to you. It's not just that he killed our shote, which means baby pig. It's the principle of the thing." "And the reward," Grandpa said. DJ laced up his high-top logging boots that came way above his calves, so they came close to his knees. Wow. He stood up on the hobnailed boots with leather soles. Hobnailed means that they had little pokey parts sticking out at the bottom of the shoe. You wouldn't want somebody to step on your foot with those, but if it was slippery outside, that helps hold the ground. They'd grip almost anything from a log to a bare rock. He walked carefully so the floor wouldn't be pitted by the hobnails that could poke holes in your floor. Dad was out checking his spring filled .6. That's a type of gun. Like the .3 that DJ would carry, both had been .30 caliber military rifles used in World War or before World War I. Dad liked the long-barreled Craig he'd fired at the bear when he raided them, but it was just too awkward in the brush. Dad admitted, the reward's nice, but we also got to get a move on. We met a professional bear hunter who's come in with his kid to take that bear. Name of Abbas. Mean as a rattlesnake at shedding time, because snakes will shed their skin. When they grow, their skin just kind of breaks away from them and they crawl out of it, and underneath it's all new skin. And they're very bad-tempered at that time, dangerous. Got to beat him to the bounty. Dad checked a half a dozen shells, as always, hand-loaded. They were called roll your own. Grandpa laughed. There's the truth, Sam. You just can't abide to him beating you to that bear hide. Doesn't matter what it is, Dad snapped. Now leave me alone so I can think. DJ pulled on a red and white checkered flannel lumberjack shirt over his undershirt. Then he put on his tin coat. He tucked in an old pair of brown jersey cotton gloves into one of the tin coat's deep pockets. Ordinarily, they were for cold weather, but they were also handy for moving brush. Dad didn't carry a canteen. Dad had said bear hunters depended on finding water. There were so few people in the high country that any running stream was considered safe for drinking. Prunes, raisins, and other dried fruits were stuffed into the deep pockets of the big tin coat. This was followed by jerky, salami, and other dried meats. Lastly, the boy added 2 chocolate bars. He did not carry a blanket. The idea was to go light. That means not pack too much. At night, Dad said bear hunters slept in their clothes. If it got really cold, hounds were piled on top of the hunters to get more warmth. So the dogs climbed right on top of you. Have you ever had a dog try to sleep on you? I have, and it makes me feel like I'm getting squished. But they want to do it to stay warm. This was June, and all they need was fire to lie down beside. The boy picked up the heavy rifle. His mother had never approved of guns, but Dad insisted that DJ learn to handle a weapon when he was old enough to learn safety. His father was a stickler for safety, and the boy was glad. DJ had never killed anything, but he was a crack shot. He was really a good shot. He grabbed 8 roll-your-own shells. He slipped an old-fashioned brimmed hat on his head and looked at his father. Grandpa shook his... I don't know why I could never remember how to say that word. It's shillelagh. Grandpa shook his shillelagh at his son. You're a-going off and gonna leave me all alone? The boogeyman's not gonna carry you off. DJ wanted to yell, Stop it! Stop it, both of you! But he'd tried that before, and it never did any good. Nothing seemed to work since Mom had died. Instead, he said, I'm ready, Dad. His father glanced up where he was finishing tying his boots. Get the dogs in the pickup. The hair puller too? Take 'em all. Let's find out what they're made of. Grandpa sighed and sat on the couch, his blackthorn stick clattering on the floor beside him because he's tapping it. You'll be okay, Grandpa. The old man looked up and tried to smile. For the first time, DJ sensed that something was wrong. He bent over and softly asked Grandpa, "You hurting? Are you hurting?" The old wrinkled hand, covered with brown liver spots, gently closed over DJ's hand. I'll show you what a liver spot looks like. If you look on my hand, see that little brown spot? When you get older, you get more of those. They're like giant freckles. And his grandpa had a lot of them, and his hand was very wrinkled. Nothing but old age, a breaking down my neck, breathing down my neck. The boy hesitated. I don't have to go on that hunt, Grandpa. Not safe for a man to hunt alone. You go with your daddy. Look after him. DJ frowned. Are you sure? I'm sure. Now go on. DJ patted his grandfather on the shoulder. He grunted and pulled back. DJ saw the pain in the old man's face. Grandpa, what's wrong? Nothing. Now go on before your father hollers at you. Dad drove DJ and the dogs to a small turkey ranch where Dad had heard the outlaw bear had come the night before to eat the soft mash. They picked up the trail where the bear had ignored the turkeys, but tore up several sacks of turkey feed. Now that turkey feed would be like corn and wheat, grains like that. Rock, the pappy dog, sniffed along the cold bear trail and took off towards the apple orchard. Dad held two hounds on their chains while DJ held the female hound and the little hair puller. Dad asked, see that how that old cold nose is working out that bear's scent? He could smell it. Going to jump old Satchelfoot before sundown, with any luck. DJ was almost jogging to keep up with his father's untiring gait. That's how fast he could walk, the way he walked. The scruffy mutt was enjoying being with DJ. The dog ran at his side, rattling the chain and playfully nipping at DJ's ankles. The boy tried to shake him off and scold him, but the hair puller seemed to think it was a game. DJ said, maybe Grandpa was right. You're a nothing dog, and Zero's a good name for you. It was nearing sundown when Pod paused to listen to the hound in the distance. Trail's warming up, I think. I'll cut in this backup hound. You be ready to unsnap the hair puller when we hear these hounds are looking at that old bear. The second hound was released and bounded away, baying with the joy of the chase. Dad was pleased. Sounds like we got two mighty good hounds, DJ. Well, we'll soon know. In a little while, Dad released the third hound and ordered DJ to do the same with Roxy. The two hounds were anxious to join the two dogs baying at the hot trail ahead. Hot trail means they were getting close to the big old Satchelfoot. Zero didn't seem interested at all, which made the boy a little bit curious. DJ looked at the sky, wondering how much longer they'd dare to go. Even with flashlights, it was dangerous to move in the blackness of the mountains. We'll stay within hearing distance, Dad said. When the hounds bay that bear, we've got to come to them. No sense turning them loose if you don't intend to come to them. Let's see how the little cut-across mongrel does. Dusk was settling when they topped a pine-covered ridge and stopped again to listen to the hounds. Dad frowned. Sound like there's another dog's voice in there that I don't recognize. DJ cocked his head and listened, but he couldn't tell for sure, so he said nothing. But Dad was so sure he started cussing and caving, as Mom used to say. Dad exclaimed, "That must be Tinsley Addis' dog. Come on, DJ, let's run a little bit." They were making their way through heavy brush when DJ smelled wood smoke. "Dad?" "I smell it. Must be we're coming up on that Ziering fellow who lives here whereabouts." DJ looked around sharply. "You mean the mad hermit?" Mad in this case would be kind of crazy. And hermit is somebody who lives by themselves a long way from other people. "You got that wrong, DJ. He's called the Hermit of Mad River. Mighty big difference. There's his shack right up there." "We got it a minute to stop. Won't be neighborly not to, and he might not take kindly to us passing without speaking. Besides, the hounds are still running that bear." Zeke Ziering came out of the split log front porch of the home he'd probably built by himself. He held an old coal lantern up high until Dad and DJ introduced themselves. He was trying to see them. That was his light. The old man lowered the light and invited the visitors to come onto his rickety front porch. He was a man of medium height, well along in years, and probably hadn't taken a whole lot of baths lately. DJ wrinkled his nose a little bit. Didn't smell too good. Mr. Ziering said, "I don't get many visitors hereabout." He scratched the front of his threadbare, that means it's wearing out, striped railroad coveralls, where a patched blue work shirt showed. "Bear hunting, are you?" "Most of those hounds you hear are mine," Dad admitted. "Seems like maybe another dog is running the trail too." "That's my Tug. He's a hair puller. Well, was anyway. He's old and toothless and almost blind like me, but he still likes to run a trail now and again." Dad looked at DJ with relief. "Whew. That's your dog's voice?" "Purely is." The hermit bent to look at the scruffy little dog DJ still had on the shade. "Say there, Sonny, that's a mighty fine looking dog you got there." Before DJ could answer, Dad said, "That's a stock killing bear they're running. That was one that kills farmers' animals. Killed one of our pigs." "You don't say." "Well, I ain't got many comforts, but I'd be obliged if you and your boy come and took supper with me." "Thank you kindly, Mr. Ziering, but we got to keep up with our dogs. I want to be near enough to cut loose this hair puller when he's needed." The hermit nodded his head slowly. "I've been living alone back here for 20 years, I reckon. Don't miss people much, but sometimes." He paused, and DJ was aware of the hermit's watery blue eyes that settled on him. So, he felt almost like crying. Dad prompted, "Sometimes what?" "Sometimes I wish I had me a son born, but I got nary chick or kin." He doesn't have any family. "Well, thanks for stopping. And don't worry about Tug. He'll come in when he's ready." They went on, using their flashlights. DJ kept looking back. He wasn't sure what there was about the old hermit, but something bothered the boy. He felt sorry for Mr. Zerid, old, alone, like that outlaw bear. The thought surprised DJ. But before he could think about it anymore, the evening air was filled with the sound of hounds baying excitedly. "They're looking at him, DJ! Unsnap the hair puller!" See, a hound dog will change the different types of sounds he makes as he gets close to, in this case, the bear. When they're chasing him and can't see him, they make one sound. And when they see him, they make another sound. DJ bent to obey. The little mutt jumped up to lick DJ's face. The boy pushed him away. But when the hair puller was free, he didn't bound off with joyful barks to join the bear chase as the hounds had. DJ pointed into the night. "Go!" he commanded. "Can't you hear those hounds? They're fighting old Satchelfoot, and they need you." Zero wagged his stub tail, nearly twisted himself in two trying to please DJ. But even when Dad shouted at the mutt, the dog didn't run toward the hounds. Instead, he ran around DJ in a joyful circle, nearly sitting on his tail in the brown pine needles that covered the ground. Dad swore, "That ain't no hair puller. He don't want to get in on that bear. He's no bear dog. He's worthless. Wait till I get my hands on that boot Maloney." "He tried to warn you, Dad." "I don't care. DJ, your grandpa was right. That's a nothing dog, and he's well named as Zero." Father and son ran on, using their lights. Soon they heard the hounds had treed the bear, so the bear's up in a tree now. The closer they got to the angry sounds of the bear and the dogs fighting, the closer Zero ran to the boy. Soon DJ felt his boots hitting the little mutt on the lower jaw with every step he took. The boy tried to make the dog move, but Zero returned to running between the boy's legs and almost underfoot. Dad was swearing so awful, DJ was scared. All the words were aimed at the scruffy little mongrel. They came upon the bear and hound fight from above. The lights showed Dad and DJ were standing at the top of a small cliff, some 15 feet below. So that would be like, maybe like your mom standing, and another lady standing on top of her head, and another lady standing on top of her head. So that's about how far 15 feet is. The hounds were leaping and baying at the bear out of sight under the cliff's lip. It was obvious the bear had backed up against the cliff to protect its backside. The 5 hounds, including the hermit's old hair puller, were churning up the dust and making an awful racket. Dad said, "I can't get a shot at him from here. I'll have to work my way down. He'll kill my dogs unless I get to them." He glanced around. "You stay here, DJ, and don't move. This here's decomposed granite rock we're standing on. Don't jump around. I want to know exactly where you are when I shoot." That way he wouldn't accidentally shoot DJ. In a little while, DJ's excitement got so great, he lay on his stomach and crawled forward. He peered over the top of the cliff, but he couldn't see anything. He thought about using his flashlight, but it might interfere with Dad's light when he was ready to fire. The little mutt ran up to the boy and licked his face. DJ rolled over and pushed the dog away. You cut that out, you hear? You're supposed to be down there helping fight that bear. DJ turned and wiggled closer to the edge of the cliff. He heard the hounds baying and jumping in and out at the bear. His tusks clicked. That would be the bears. Sometimes their teeth are called tusks. Suddenly, Zero ran and jumped right on the boy's back. You stop that! DJ rolled over hard and sat up to shove the little mongrel away, but the boy stopped his hands in midair. He felt the decomposed granite cliff begun to crumble. Frantically, DJ tried to jump to safety, but Zero leaped into his arms. Boy and dog fell down towards the middle of that bear and hound dog fight. So they fell all the way down. Oh no, I wonder what's going to happen now. So tomorrow I'll be reading How to Ride a Bear. What? How to Ride a Bear? That one sounds like a really good one. So I look forward to talking to you tomorrow and reading chapter 5 because I don't know how to ride a bear. Do you? So I just want to say I love you. God bless you. You have a really good rest of your day. And again, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.